I'm writing about women in surrealism, but to start off, I'll just read you a dream I had. So, a while back, 2 years ago maybe, I was feeling like really trapped in my body and like trapped in, I don't know, just like trapped and claustrophobic or something. I don't know how to explain it, but so I kept on having this reoccurring dream, and I wrote it down, so I'll read it for you. I was a seagull flying over the ocean. The first time I had the dream. The sun warmed my feathers and they were fresh and salty. I flew till I woke up the next day. Then I had the dream again. But this time my body was beginning to tire. I kept looking for land, but all I could see was the vast ocean stretched out before me. Each night I would have this dream. My body grew wearier and wearier with each dream. With no land to be found, only jagged rocks and sea. The sky grew darker and darker with storm clouds. Even after nights of desperately searching, I still couldn't find a place to land. I was trapped in the sky, a place that seemed so free. Night came and I saw the stars and thought perhaps I could fly to one and rest. But they were too far to reach with my tired wings. A wind swept me up and tossed me around. It felt as if rocks had been tied to my eyelids and my wings. I couldn't fly any longer and fell to the ocean below. I expected to drown. I anticipated the salty water saturating my feathers and filling my lungs. But when I hit the water, everything was calm. I could still breathe. I'd become a fish. So then I woke up and I felt like not trapped anymore and liberated in a way. So what this has to do with my topic is that, like, in this world, you can't just turn into a fish. From it, yeah. But in your head you can. And it's all like, it's about the things you think about, and that's, like, you can play all sorts of games with your mind that way and see the world in a different way and I guess be happier in that sense. And to me, surrealism is kind of about that. It's about just like using your imagination and stuff to create and make art, but also just to view the world in this way that makes it, I don't know, more ideal, maybe not more ideal, just like happier, I guess, or something. Or more magical in a way, I guess. So that's why I really love surrealism and the surrealist way of that. It's all about using your, like, a big part of it is using your subconscious to create and, like, make art and stuff like that. But the surrealist movement itself was really misogynistic and sexist, partially because it took place in long ago, so yeah. But the surrealist art and literature very often objectified women and used them as like catalysts and doors to like see things into like an example of that is in Naja, a book by Andre Breton. Breton uses Naja as like, he views her less as a person and more as like a way to see into another world, which is something like seeing into another world is something that surrealism is very much about. So because of this sort of thought process, many women artists rejected surrealism and didn't like the title anyways, and also just because of the times and stuff, they went very unrecognized. So in writing my Graddy, I want to show a different side of surrealism that is not so patriotic and that not patriotic.
Patriarchal.
Patriotic. Oh, nervous. Okay. And examine surrealism from a feminine perspective and examine these women surrealist artists and writers and what they brought to the table and brought to surrealism. Like, one of the books I've read is like one of my favorite books, The Hearing Trumpet by Leonora Carrington. She writes about, like, it's about this old woman who gets put in a home for old people, and she goes on all sorts of adventures, but one of the main themes in it is anti-institutionalism. So that's kind of an example of that. So I just want to bring to light the perspective that was really suppressed at the time and show a different view of the world of surrealism. And ultimately I want to show how women surrealist artists created a different form of surrealism that was perhaps more true, or do you have any questions?
Sarah.
Okay, so in this generation, if like feminists see artists creating like art that's about like women being objectified, like wait, no, like okay, I feel like lots of like feminists would be mad or like upset with like artists that creates art with like about women being objectified, like if they make it like now, but I don't know what I was gonna say. I don't know. So like, do you think? Oh, I remember. Do you respect the art like itself, like women being objectified, and like, do you still think it's art, and then, or like, do you feel like upsetting?
I think it's art, but I think it can be problematic. I mean, it's still art, but just because something's art doesn't mean you should support it necessarily, or art can be bad, like in a political sense.
Anything else for Rowan?
I know like music isn't typically considered like surrealist or anything. I think there are definitely some like musicians that kind of embody that. Are you going to talk anything about music?
I haven't like planned that far ahead. Maybe. I know. I was thinking of talking about films, and maybe I hadn't thought about music, but that's a good suggestion.
Because a lot of women have been like suppressed.
Yeah.
In history.
Okay. All right. Thank you.